Today we are going to talk about the negation in Egyptian Arabic. It's kind of simple, but it's very different from the MSA Arabic, the modern standard Arabic. In Egyptian Arabic we have two models of negation. Ma, a word and a suffix sh, or mish at the beginning of a sentence. So we have number one, ma, and a word then a suffix sh. Number two is mish. So how do we do this? Let me give you an example. Let's start, for example, with the verb to eat. Yakul. And let's start with the first model. So the verb to eat is, of course, yakul. This is in the singular present tense masculine form. When we want to say this in a negative form, usually we would use the biyakul form, which is the present continuous form of the present tense. We talked about this in a previous video. So the first example here would be ma biyakul. ما بياكلش, and it simply translates to he doesn't eat. So this is in the present continuous form, present continuous. We can use this form also in the past tense, so it will be ما أكلش, ما أكلش, he didn't eat, and that would be the past tense. A, B. The other form is mish, that comes before the verb, and in this form we can only use the present continuous form. Mish, and what's the present continuous of yakul? It's biyakul, so mish biyakul. And this translates to he doesn't eat. So basically these two are the same. ما بياكلش is exactly the same meaning as مش بياكل, and both of them translates to he doesn't eat. And you can either use this one or that one. It's really up to you. It has no effect on the meaning. Of course, if you have studied MSA, the modern standard Arabic, you would notice that this is completely different from the negation in the MSA. So in MSA we would usually use words like ليس. Oh, this is not clear. ليس, لم, لن, ما, غير, and you learned that usually these words come in front of the verb or at the beginning of the sentence. This is something that you will never use in Egyptian Arabic. So this is an example of one of the reasons why sometimes we say that the Egyptian Arabic sounds completely like a different language, because something like the negation, which is a very basic thing that you might want to use in everyday language and everyday situations, is completely different from MSA. So this is not what we're going to study in this channel, because we're studying Masri, so we're going to focus on this. So again, let's revise what we said. Ma verb, sh, and mish verb. The first form can either be used with the present continuous form, ما بياكلش, or the past tense, ما أكلش. The mish form can only come with the present continuous form of the verb. Sometimes, it's very rare, but you may come across this when you are in Egypt or talking to an Egyptian person, and they would say they would use this form mish and with the past tense of biyakul. But this is very rare, and it's sort of a dialect of a certain part in Egypt. That they would use the mish form with the past tense of the verb. But usually when you want to use the mish form, you want to use the present continuous tense Let's do a few more examples. And to do those examples, you want to maybe remember the pronouns, because the verb changes with the pronoun. Of course, you know this. So let's say we want to use this same verb to eat, but with the female version. You know, the male version of to eat is yakul. The female version would be tekul. Notice the T sound. So in the present continuous form, it would be ما بتاكل. ما تاكلش. She doesn't eat. In the past tense, ما أكلتش. She didn't eat. Notice the T sound. In the second form, مش, of course, بتاكل. مش بتاكل. So this is with the pronoun he, this pronoun she. Let's do it with they. بياكلوا. ما بياكلوش. If you're confused about why I say بياكل is the present continuous form, you can go back to the video of the present and the present continuous tense in the Egyptian Arabic. A lot of it translates to the present tense in English, but it's the present continuous in Arabic. So it can also be they're not eating, he's not eating, he doesn't eat, or she doesn't eat, she is not eating. So even though I say it's the present continuous form, you can understand it as the present form in English. It's just because it's different from yakul. So biyakul is the state of continuing to do the thing. Let's do one more pronoun. We. Oh, I forgot the second one. The past tense. ما أكلوش. We. ما بناكل. And the suffix, so ما بناكلش. We don't eat. We're not eating. ما أكلنا. And the suffix, so ما أكلناش. Oh, I forgot the second form with they. مش بياكلوا. With we. مش بناكل. So now you may be asking, we haven't covered the past tense. What about the past tense? Because it looks completely different from the present and the present continuous form. Well, if you've learned MSA, you would know that the past tense in Arabic is a bit complicated. And in my opinion, and since this channel is all about the Egyptian form of Arabic, my advice is that the past tense should be memorized as is. And I know I said I will never explain anything in MSA, but I have to say this because you have to know why I say the past tense needs to be memorized and how complicated it is. So briefly, to know the past tense form from the present tense of the verb بياكل, for example, you need to go back to the root of the word. What is the root of the word? It's simply it's removing any conjugation or suffixes from the word and stripping the word until it matches, until it rhymes with the word فعل. The word فعل means to do. I'm sorry, I'm still explaining this in Masri. There's no such thing as بياكل in MSA, so I'm sorry. So when we're talking about the present tense in the MSA, the Modern Standard Arabic, it's ياكل. To go to the root of the word, we have to make it rhyme with this word فعل, which means to do, so أكل. See, so this is the past tense of the verb ياكل. Let me give you another example. يشرب. We will have to remove the Y sound that makes it conjugated with the pronoun he. So it becomes شرب It rhymes with فعل, so أكل فعل, شرب فعل. Of course, there's more than one form in the past tense. So we have the 3 consonant verbs like أكل. We have the 4 consonant verbs like بادر, which means to initiate. We have the 5 consonant verbs like ارتقى, which means to rise up or be elevated. We have the 6 consonant verbs like استخرج, which means to extract. When it's a 3 consonant verb, you can easily find the root of it and rhyme it with the verb فعل. But what if it's a 4 or 5 or 6 consonants? It becomes complicated, and especially when you want to add the pronoun conjugation to the verb. So I really think that it's better to just memorize as many past tense forms as you can. At the end of the video, I'm going to compile a number of past tense verbs and put it on the screen. You can take a screenshot, and it will not cover all the verbs, but maybe this is how I can help you with this past tense situation. Is it beneficial to know the MSA way of knowing how to form the past tense verb? As a native speaker of Arabic, we never think like this. When we're talking like in everyday situations, we never like think in the way like, oh, so what is the root of the verb that will rhyme with the word فعل, and how many consonants is there in this verb? It's more like we already know a lot of words that in their past tense form, and that's how we use it. So for someone who's learning Arabic for the first time, I can see how this could be very complicated. I'm talking about the past tense form. So I really encourage you to memorize as many past tense words that you can find. So there are other situations where you can use this form mish that you cannot use this form in. So for example, this form has other uses other than the regular use of just negating the verb. And let's talk about this for a minute. Mish can be used with sentences that has no verb. For example, descriptive sentences with adjectives like هي جميلة, she is pretty. To negate this sentence, you can only use mish. You cannot use the other form. So this becomes هي مش هي مش جميلة. Another no verb sentence that we would use this form in would be a sentence denoting a place, like هنا, هناك, هنا, which means here, هناك, there. To negate this fact, you would need mish. So mish هنا, mish هنا, or mish هناك. The third use is instructive sentences. So in this you need to know words like da, which means this, and كده, which means like this. If you want to make this a negative statement, it would be مش كده, sorry, مش ده, not this, or مش كده, not like this. So here you go. This is the 3 uses of mish besides the regular use of negating the present continuous tense form. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope it was helpful. I'm going to show you now a list of past tense verbs that you may want to screenshot and memorize later, and see you in the next video.